We are at the halfway point of 2025, and I am 80 movies in to my 200 movie goal for 2025 as a whole. So I got some catching up to do the second half, but what a great time to kind of stop halfway through the year here and just do a top 10 movie list for myself of 2025. Some caveats: there'll be some movies here that were part of last year's Oscar season that some people might have had the opportunity to see in 2024, and they might not feel it's on my list, but there's a couple of movies that I didn't get to see until 2025, so they're on my personal 2025 list. I have a variety of movies, and I'll give my kind of brief thoughts on all of them, but tell me yours in the comments down below, and like and subscribe here. We're going to be doing a lot of movie coverage as we keep moving through summer movie season, and I look forward to having everybody along the way tell me their thoughts and how they feel about all the upcoming July releases. But without further ado, let's just get into my top 10 movies of 2025 so far. At number 10, we have Nickel Boys. Directed by Ramel Ross, this Oscar-nominated movie tells us a really intimate and grounded story of two young male individuals who find themselves in a Jim Crow established kind of juvenile detention center, and Ross and crew are able to deliver some heartbreaking moments as well as a very interesting cinematography POV style, which is done by Jomo Frey, that really tries to put you into these characters and feel what they were feeling. The lead in this movie is Ethan Harris, playing Elwood, our main character, who kind of just is in the wrong place in the wrong time and gets put in this hellish scenario. But the big standout for me is Anjanou Ellis-Taylor, who plays his aunt, our grandmother, I believe, that is just so good in the role and is bringing humanity out in any character she's in, whether it's Brandon Wilson as, Elwood's friend, Turner. This movie is a very tough watch at times, but it's a very powerful watch, and Ross does such a great job telling this story and giving it a different style than maybe what you've seen before. It was not on my top list of the Oscar-nominated movies come last year. I think last year's batch ended up being a lot better than I thought, but it's still a very good movie and is hanging on to that 10th spot right now in 2025. Number 9 is How to Train Your Dragon, the live-action edition. Directed by Dean Du Bois and kind of starring Mason Thames, Nico Parker, Gerard Butler, Nick Frost. This was a fun time. This was a live-action adaptation that was faithful to the source material. Maybe lost some of its cartoonish charm in some of the characters, but the live-action elements of the dragons and the action and the score, which was done by John Powell, just does so well to make this a great theatrical experience. You get the heart and the charm of the original movie. You get a lot more of the action and of the live action dragons. And the animation on the CGI works so well that you still get people being very much characters like with the dragons, like Toothless. It doesn't fully lose the cartoon charm that maybe the cartoon characters had. The humans definitely don't have that extraordinary feel to them, but the cast delivers pretty much throughout. It's a great movie to see in theaters, and it's a great family time. There's little to no complaints I have about it. I believe Nickel Boys, I said before, you could probably find on Amazon Video. This one is still in theaters right now, but will eventually likely come out on Peacock later on, but I highly recommend you check it out in theaters. How to Train Your Dragon, my number 9 movie. My number 8 movie so far this year, from New Line Cinema and director-writer Drew Hancock, Companion. Sophie Thatcher in this movie was so good, and her ability to have great chemistry with people like Jack Quaid, Lucas Gage, Megan Suri really just added so much in this movie. This is kind of a horror / more of a slasher movie where, our companion, which I believe her name was Iris, played by Sophie Thatcher, is a companion robot that is there to befriend Josh, played by Jack Quaid. The movie, I think, delves into interesting ideas. It has fun little plot twists throughout, and it's just very well made and shot in a very, I think, appealing way. It's not overly gruesome with the horror. It doesn't stay its welcome too long with a pretty quick runtime. And I just think the acting throughout just delivers some good characters that you can connect with. Sophie Thatcher is definitely the standout here in the lead role, and she gives a very much just mesmerizing performance that just looks so well, and she reminds me a lot of Anya Taylor-Joy in this performance. So much so, if you go check out my review, I call her Anya Taylor-Joy like an idiot itself. But Companion was such a good movie. It was a great time in theaters. It's something that I recommend anybody check out on Max right now, where it's at, if you haven't seen it yet, and just enjoy kind of something not fully unique and original per se. You could, it's hard to get things that are pure originals, but it just feels so different and so well crafted compared to some of the horror movies and slasher movies we've seen so far in 2025, and it ends up in my 8th spot so far halfway through the year. My biggest surprise of the year may be K-pop Demon Hunters here at number 7. This movie, just out fresh on Netflix from Sony Animation, just delivers a lot of fun music, a lot of fun action, and really great characters with our core 3 of, Rumi, Jinwoo, and Mira. For me, Mira was kind of my personal favorite standout, but this direction group of Maddie Kag and Chris Applehans really just delivers a great time to watch. I think the movie's watchable in both English and Korean. I always like to do the Korean language, the more native language, because sometimes that will, help with subtitles, but I didn't notice it either way when I checked either way. It's just a fun, action-packed movie. Sony Animation, like they have seen with things like Spider-Verse, continues to deliver great, fresh-looking, and really crisp-looking animation, and it just delivers on fun action, fun music, fun characters, a fun story, something you can watch with people of any age, and just have a great time watching. It was a huge surprise. It reminded me a lot of maybe a movie that could have been made for, say, Riot Games and their KDA, pop star group. But K-pop Demon Hunters was just a fun time. I've watched it twice through Netflix right now. Highly recommend you go check it out if you're not even sure you might want to watch it. Takes my number 7 spot. Just not enough to get Diamond. There's a little bit things here and there that kept it from being a Diamond for me, but it was a great time, and it's made its way up my list so far this year, number 7. We'll see where it ends at the end of the year, but a really great time. Watch it on Netflix. It just came out, and I'm sure if you ask around, you might know somebody who also watched it too, because it seems like it has a lot of eyeballs on it so far. My favorite movie from Sundance was Where the Wind Comes From, and it is here at number 6. Everyone else from the here on out is a part of my Diamond Club, so they're my best of the best so far this year. And this movie, directed and written by Emile Guelelti, takes us on kind of an adventurous 2 friends living in Tunis, I believe Tunisia. Alyssa and Mehdi decide to take a road trip to try to get themselves out of the situation that they're in, into a new life in Europe. And in here, both Alyssa and Mehdi's relationship is tested, their will is tested, where they end up in life and who they become is kind of tested, and it really is a great backdrop with the cinematography done by Frida Mazork, and just an eye of what a different part of the world is like. When you think of Africa, you may think of certain type of countries. You might not think of the Mediterranean style of Africa and what life may be like there, and people trying to push themselves up. And Alyssa was played so well by Aya Balagia. I don't know how to say her name, I'm sorry, but she was so good in this movie as Alyssa. It was a really great personal watch, and something that I don't know when it will be distributed out elsewhere. It was a Sundance movie. I don't think it got picked up by anybody in the US. I know it got distributed distribution in the Middle East and Africa. Maybe you'll be able to find this online one of these days here soon, but it really, I felt, was a great watch. It had some good comedy bits, had some really good character moments and character drawn out moments, and it was the story that I connected with the best at Sundance and really just enjoyed watching from beginning to end. It was the standout for me, and a batch of a lot of very good movies that I got to see of the 10. You can check that whole, those 10 movie reviews out here on the channel. And I really did like this movie. I really did love this movie, and I kind of wish it was given more of a chance by somebody like a Netflix or a Prime Video or some streamer should pick this movie up, and put it on their service, because I think people could get their eyeballs on it and really appreciate where the win comes from. My number 6 movie of the year so far. Top 5 time. And with 5th place, we have another movie that's in theaters right now by Disney, Elio. I loved and adored Elio. The story was so well done. It felt so original in ways and crafty. And just the direction by, the trio of Madeline Shafirian, Domi Shi, and Adrian Molina just really brings out a fresh character of Elio, who they are not afraid to show his flaws and to allow you as a viewer to know that he isn't the best kid in some ways. There are things that happen in Elio's life that may be troubling, but they're not afraid to have Elio keep pushing on flaws, and then eventually learn and grow with his relationship with his aunt, played by Zoe Saldana, Olga, just very, very well. Jonas Kibrib as Elio does a fantastic job, and the character of Gordon, played by Remy Edgerly, has a great connection with Elio. Their parallels and their friendship together just works very, very well, and this movie just comes up as a breath of fresh air and a Disney sequel and reboot thing that they've been in with animation for a lot of times. Pixar has its charm. It has a lot of moments that makes you feel emotions. It shows you a great character growth for our main character, Elio, and it's just overall, I felt, was a great time in theaters. If you're looking for something to watch this time, if you're looking for something with, especially if you have littles at home, go watch Elio. I think you will all have a great time at it. It gives a lot of charm there for the kids. It has a lot of great messages for kids, and it has a really great story that will even, grip adults. Even in the first 5 minutes, it has a great scene that is really the Pixar magic that I feel like only Pixar is able to achieve sometimes in these more family, kid-friendly movies that pack a mature and warm punch. It's just very, I think, underrated Elio. I'm hoping that this word of mouth can keep going. And here it is, number 5 in my list so far this year. So it's going to try and hold on to that spot through the rest of this year to see if it can stay in the top 10. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But a top 5 spot is not a thing to crack at too much, I personally feel. From A24, Alex Garland and Ray Mendoza, we have Warfare in the number 4 spot. Warfare, I just thought, was a unapologetically honest and well-made movie that just felt like you were in the moment. You were there at the beginning of this military operation to the eventual potential end of the military operation, and it just gave you an amazing, honest view of warfare. The direction by Alex Garland was just phenomenal throughout. You weren't getting any cliches. You weren't getting any type of big hook of who's the hero, who's not the hero. You're just getting an honest look of what it might be like for, in this case, I believe Marines. I'm seeing here Navy SEALs on a mission that may have not gone according to plan. And the cast is stacked throughout. People like Will Poulter do a great job. Cosmo Jarvis is amazing as Elliot Miller, kind of a lead sniper. Kit Connor's great. Michael Gandolfini's in here. Joseph Quinn does an amazing job. Charles Melton. This is littered with a lot of young actors who are just playing these roles so well. And just the chemistry that they're able to really just highlight in a military patrol unit and just how you're able to communicate and how things have to be serious is just so well done. And it's not the easiest movie sometimes to watch, but the sound design on it is amazing. The camera choices are amazing, and just the ability for it to be written and acted out and just, like I said, it's unapologetically just honest. From the Navy SEALs taking over somebody's house and the damage that may leave in that person's house near the end of the movie, to just the trauma and the absolute, like, on point everybody has to be of warfare, and how sometimes in the middle of it people can get affected different ways and how that can shape things. This is a great watch. It is on Max currently, I believe. If it's not, it'll eventually end up on Max. I loved it in theaters. This was an outstanding movie. One I wasn't expecting to be as good as it was, but I didn't know what it was going to be. But Garland and Mendoza deliver a fantastic honest look at what modern warfare may feel like. And it's just something that I recommend people check out if you're looking for something that's going to be like that. It was very well shot. It was very well made, very well engaged, and so much cliche-less. Like, so cliche-less in a lot of ways. And I appreciate that when tackling the subject of warfare, because so often we get cliched stories which people can get attached to, but it kind of dampens down the horror of warfare itself. And Warfare here by Alex Garland makes sure that that horror is involved while also still finding a way for you to connect to characters without needing cliches. Number 3 for me, directed and written by Brady Corbet, Mona Fastvoid also has a writing credit, is The Brutalist. This movie had just outstanding cinematography, done by Lowell Crawley, and an outstanding cast, whether it's Adrian Brody as our lead, Felicity Jones coming in the second half like a tour de force as our lead's wife, Guy Pearce being the best villain, if you want to talk about it, of the whole entire movie, as Harrison Van Lee Buren, Joe Alwyn as his son. The story of Laszlo Toth here, a survivor, Holocaust survivor, who finds his way, into a relationship with a very rich man that comes to understand, Toth's amazing architect skills and wants to use them on something for his mother. This delivers a complex and very deep-rooted story that goes over so many different, layers of emotions and themes and acting moments and who's the good guy, who's the bad guy, exploitation of the rich over the poor, and, like, men that are, maybe not listening to their wives enough, the struggles of being an immigrant in America during that time post-World War II, the stereotypes that might take place, just the beautiful architecture and the cinematography for this whole movie. The score, which, oh my goodness, the score which was done by Daniel Blumberg. The opening shot of the movie with the score is so good. It's just so well put together. It was up there for one of my favorite movies going into Oscar season last year. A lot of people thought it had a chance at winning the Oscar for Best Picture. It just has a whole package. It is a very long movie at over 3 hours, and it's breaking up into 2 parts with an intermission. And even the intermission comes at a great spot that really just brings in Felicity Jones, who was more narrating parts of the first half of the movie as Erzbeth Toth, Laszlo's wife, and she just comes in and gives such a heartfelt performance as a Holocaust survivor herself. The movie is just absolutely well crafted from beginning to the end. It has so many different moments and themes. The cinematography is outstanding. The score is breathtaking. It is a movie that I believe is on Max right now. If you have yourself a day where you want to watch something that's very art crafty, that's very kind of gives you a historic period piece, check out The Brutalist. It was a phenomenal watch, and just from the opening scene alone, you'll get goosebumps and feel like you'll be worth watching The Brutalist. The second spot for me is the movie which was directed by Ida Estoiaki, I'm Still Here. Yes, Brazilian fans, you have taught the rest of us in the world about I'm Still Here, and we are appreciative of that because this movie was outstanding. I got a chance to watch this in Orlando when I was out visiting family one night. I was like, I need to watch I'm Still Here before the Oscars. It wasn't coming to Boise until like right before Oscar season. This was my chance to go see this movie, and I took it and I loved it. Fernanda Torres is our lead here, telling a very historical story of Eunice Pavia, who ends up being an activist against a Brazilian kind of dictatorship. And her story and the struggles that her and her family go through, just powerful. And the way that this is written and acted for the whole entire Paiva family just reminds me so much of what families are like. It feels so just like authentic. It feels so honest. It feels so just loved. And the way Fernanda Torres is able to carry the darker parts of the story, and all of her daughters, that are carrying the darker parts of the story, just work incredibly well. The movie takes you on this amazing journey of Eunice's life from the start of the potential occupation of the dictatorship to all the different trials and tribulations that her family goes through. It's beautiful. The score and the way it's shot is done so well. It's just like a refreshing feel and reminds you kind of what life was like in the 70s and 80s. Like, I'll be honest, my mother's side has, I believe, 6 siblings, and the way this family kind of acted and were living life around the same time as what she would have been growing up reminds me of a lot of the stories they would always tell me about what it was like for them, growing up as a family together with a single mother. And again, a very similar way to what we see Eunice here overall. The movie is outstanding. It says that it's available potentially on Netflix. I know you can rent or buy it digitally if it's not on Netflix in the US. It's an outstanding movie. Fernanda Torres gives a outstanding, phenomenal, could have been Best Actress worthy performance. We'll have to see at the Oscars later this year. There's a good chance she'll be showing up. We'll have to see if she is a frontrunner. I mean, as of right now, I go through my list of movies. If I was awarding Best Actress for my 2025 for my Oscars, Fernanda Torres has the gigantic lead. I haven't seen as good as a leading lady performance as her, but it's just an absolutely amazing movie. Watch it in the native Portuguese language. It flows so well. It's just an easy watch and a tough watch at the same time. It really is a testament to how good this movie was made. Highly recommend you go ahead and see it. I'm so glad I got a chance to see it this year. I took the 30-minute out of the way to go to a theater to go see I'm Still Here when I'm on vacation, and it was one of my favorite parts about that vacation, just watching a movie by myself. I'm Still Here. Check it out wherever you can. High recommendation for me in my number 2 spot. Which leaves the very top spot for me of 2025, Ryan Coogler, It's Sinners. I think the minute you have that middle shot in the movie where Miles Catton is, he's singing and doing the song, and it's bringing all the mystical and the musical elements from different eras of life. This movie just cemented itself as an amazing all-time great movie for me. It's stacked with a great performance in 2 different roles from Michael B. Jordan. Haley Steinfeld is a great supporting character of Mary. Miles Catton as Sammy Moore, man. What a first acting premiere from Miles Catton. That was an outstanding, award-worthy performance. I don't know if it's supporting, I don't know if it's lead, but it was outstanding. When he is on the guitar singing and making music, he just translates into so much warmth in the heart and just makes you feel so much emotion. I mean, it's still even littered with like Delroy Lindo as like an outstanding supporting role himself. He might be the person that has the best acting chance in terms of the Academy Awards later this year. As Delta Slim, he was amazing. Wumi Mosaka as Annie, one of the Michael B. Jordan's partners. She was outstanding throughout this movie. The cinematography, which was done by Autumn Durald Arkapaw, was absolutely amazing. The score by Ludwig Göransson is going to get him another Oscar. Quickly becoming the next John Williams and Hans Zimmer in a lot of ways. This movie was absolutely perfect from top to bottom. Being able to put in horror elements with the vampires in different parts and having a period piece historical drama in other parts, major character drama with people like Smoke and Stack and Sammy and Mary. Just so well done. I know people were claiming this is a horror movie, but it isn't. This is just a movie. It is more historical drama with some horror elements than an actual horror movie. Coogler's direction throughout and the cinematography work throughout just delivers breathtaking scene after breathtaking scene once the movie gets going into the night at the club that Smoke and Stack are creating, and it delivers a lot of great written elements and written moments throughout, and there's a lot of commentary throughout that I think is important in life, but also reflective in life. Coogler, this is a masterpiece written and directed by him. Right now, it's going to be coming to Max this July 4th. Some theaters still have it in there, but mostly you can only rent it, buy it today. But come July 4th, if you have Max, check out Sinners. This was a masterpiece. In my opinion, my favorite Ryan Coogler movie of all time. He is an outstanding director. He's quickly, for me, becoming up towards that Nolan, Spielberg, Villeneuve type, arc, to where I just think anything that he comes out with, I am sitting my butt in the seat, because Sinners was absolutely outstanding. It is my favorite movie of 2025 so far. It is, I think, the best movie of 2025 so far, and it tops my list overall. Now, where did you agree with me? Where you didn't? I'm going to let you guys in on a little bit else. I'm going to put my whole entire top 80 ranking here as you kind of see it move across these selects a little bit. So feel free to pause and look and see which of these ones you agree with and which of these ones you may not agree with. I'm interested to see everybody's thoughts and comments on their favorite movies in the comments down below. Like and subscribe as we go ahead and finish out the rest of 2025, the second half of the year. Will anything beat Sinners? I'm still here in these other movies to make the top 10 and maybe even take the top spot? Or will this kind of look the same come the end of the year? Probably not, but tell me what movie you're most anticipated for in the 2025 also. And yeah, it's been a fun year of movies so far. I got 120 more, at least more to go to hit my 200 range. And I'm just excited for the July movie season to start. Yeah, it's going to be a fun time.